Welcome, guys, to the final tribal council before the jury. You all have flame, so
My phone's outside.
I'm going to invite the jury. Let's have the jury walk in with Michael. Oh, that's good. Go this way. Joey.
Drinking.
Erica. Danica.
Bucket.
Buckets.
Bucket.
And Francis voted out at the last tribal council.
Vote for the music. What was that?
How was the feeling after returning to camp today?
Tired.
Relief.
Tired.
I wonder why you say relief, Tom. Tired. Has it been a long 39 days?
It's exhausting, Jeff. I mean, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually as well.
Have you found this exhausting, Lisa?
Definitely. I don't know if now have you found appreciation for people who running survival challenge before us. And this just is exhausting experience in just like once in a lifetime for most people.
Did you enjoy your experience out here, though?
I find it really miss. I do enjoy the exhilaration once after when the game complete. Obviously, there's also a lot of tense moment in between, and all those like talking, the relationship building, and everything in that is just, it also makes you mentally and physically exhausted. So.
Do either of you feel like you'll be blindsided tonight? Do either of you feel very comfortable where you are?
Not one bit.
I mean, sometimes you
Tom,
just.
you didn't say much.
Who's alarm? Oh,
Alcohol.
yeah. 1:30 p.m.
You didn't say much.
I mean, I got the feeling I see a writing on the wall sometimes. So
Is it writing on the wall for you or for someone else?
yeah, this will probably be one of few times I'm not sure because there's either me or Jay going out. So this is one I'm not sure about, but I just gotta handle it as it is.
Sitting from this side, it looked like you and Jay were pretty confident up until this point. So, are you surprised that Tom won immunity?
This is Survivor, so surprise happens. People got blindsided.
I know, but the question is, are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised Tom gets finished the puzzle. I'm surprised.
Are you surprised Tom won immunity?
Just a little.
Okay. No, reactions.
I mean, to be fair, I'm surprised that I won immunity. So.
You're giving him an out, that's nice of you.
I mean, I'm giving him an out. Doesn't mean that, I can't say fuck you, Lisa.
Well, do you want to say fuck you, Lisa?
Well, it's nice of you to try and politely say I thought you were losing, but.
I'm pretty sure.
When you were at the last leg, you were the last one in, you had a time disadvantage, you didn't know what was coming up next. What was the feeling?
Pretty much just focus. I had no idea where anyone else was, so it's, you keep going, and hopefully you come out, and for once it actually worked.
Jay, you had a huge head start lost.
It kind of seems like that's par for the course this entire season so far. I get an advantage, and then I lose it in the immunity. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but that's Survivor, right? You think you're safe, you get the advantage, you get a head start, and it means nothing at the end, unless you have that thing resting around your shoulders.
Yeah.
I like it when people use phrases that are like ripped out of Survivor.
Well, I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to do
Does anyone have any last words before you start voting? You want to start whispering in each other's ears? You want to...
that. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure discussion's out loud and pretty open. I guess we can all. I mean, the only plea, not even plea. The only thing I tell Tom is, you gotta think of, just be mindful who you're sitting next to at the end. Who they think.
Lisa,
Is the
what
best.
about you?
Well, I don't think. I also think that it's also important on the jury side, like who's sitting out there, jury for the final two. That's also important. So just have you people.
Do you
need to-
think you have a better jury shot than Jay?
I honestly don't know. I know I talked to some people, and I don't know that I didn't talk to some people. Right, so for me, is that I'm really not certain. I don't know if I have better chance than Jay or Jay has.
Jay, do you think you have a better chance than Li Zong at
No.
the jury?
No.
Why
think
is
we-
that?
Again, with those challenges, right? I didn't win anything. I came close, but I'm not the one here sitting here with any. I never was here with immunity necklace. I was always on. I mean, I didn't win anything. I think Li Zong's also really played a really good game to actually get himself to the end.
Tom, are you decided at this point?
As of now, yes, but you know, as with basically in all of my votes this entire game, there's always the caveat of it definitely gives, or just playing this, definitely gives an appreciation that you never know what's gonna happen, even if everything goes the way you want it to. Like, best case, you have a slightly loaded set of die, but it's still a roll of the dice, so you know, I'm making my decision, and possibly, but not likely. Well, I suspect, but I could be mistaken, that Li Zong would have ditched Jay. I suspect Jay would have ditched me, but I could be wrong entirely about that. So,
You are wrong about that.
okay.
Okay. So, Li Zong, will you have did Jay?
Maybe because he's like strongest contestant out of it, but that's if I win the immunity. So I suppose. So.
Jay, would you have ditched Tom?
Ditch Tom? No.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because at that point, is who am I sitting here next to at the final two? And just sit. Just you gotta see from you guys' perspective, me and Li Zong sitting next to each other. Who has a more impressive resume?
Alright, guys. It's time to vote. Jay, you're up first. If anyone hasn't hidden immunity idol, you will go home with it. The first vote goes for Jay.
Right?
Spicy.
The second vote
Li Zong.
is Li Zong.
That's so shocking.
Trick shot. I put my own name down. It's gonna go to tiebreaker.
The final vote is for
Wait, what was it? Fifth person, sixth person voted out, and the final member of our jury.
sixth person voted out, and the final member of our jury, Jeremiah Van Doren. Ooh. You gotta bring me your touch.
Oh.
Travis spoken.
That was fun, guys.
Clearly, Tom has something to say. I hope you have enough to say to the final jury.
Tom just made $1 million decision that did not benefit him. He went from a 50-50 chance of winning to 100. If I don't win this, this is one of two times I'm writing your name out. Now and when you win. I'm really impressed. It could have been us to the end.
Well, there's not much surprise. I have to write this name, not like I want to. If I write my name or leave it blank or just make it doesn't count, it's fine. It's just gonna be, from start to the finish, it's just gonna be kings against queens, you know. Maybe, that's what tribal is in this. It doesn't make sense. It's just based on who you start a team with, you know. So it is the way it is. I guess that's what Survivor is. You know, you have different people, just like you might know, you might not know, and just force putting together, try to make it work. And I hope we have more time to start competitions, but that is the way it is.
So, deciding the final person left, and thereby who I'm going up against in Final Council. Fun. So, I know one person definitely thinks it's an easy call, and the other one thinks that they're automatically going out. To be fair, they both definitely raised some valid points. But yeah, what it basically came down to is who played the better game, and therefore removing that person. So when it comes down to it, as Jeremiah pointed out, Lizong did win quite a few immunity challenges, I believe 2, and he won a few 2 reward challenges. So, or 1 reward challenge. So he definitely has some challenge cred to take him through. Of course, what he leaves out is that even though Jay did not win the immunity challenges, a single one in fact, or did he win one? He did win a number of, for example, reward challenges, which may not have the same taste, but they certainly are still victory is a victory. So he was a solid competitor throughout, always a threat. So basically what this ends up coming down to for me, and the reason I'm making the vote I'm making, is not so much based off of the challenge performance, but based off of the social game. So, I'll be the first person to tell you that my read of social game is not always up to snuff. I believe there's some comments about my Avalon choices. But what I saw through the game was Jay was trying to make was leading the discussion on some of the votes. Not all of them. A lot of them were reasonable choices to begin with. But Lizong, I never heard voice a single floating a candidate. Going through the vote selections, he generally went with the people who made the votes, which on one hand, that's not a terrible strategy. He did not stick out the entire game. I believe that that is partly showing why there were basically never votes for Lizong. The only 2 times that Lizong got votes were when someone was being, or the first 2 votes when someone was being blindsided, basically, and Lizong was the person that they were voting off, and they just got voted. So, of course, as Jay pointed out, a lot of people were treating Lizong as the GOAT throughout this entire game, myself included, basically. And he certainly, I'm assuming he was aware of that, and played that to his advantage. But again, other than just making sure that he didn't stick his head out much in the social game, I didn't see a lot of moves. And the entire time, Jay has been, I'm sure, or a good portion of it was certainly an act, but a good portion of the time, but he was always concerned. His name was pretty much consistently on the floating for elimination, and the fact that he, despite not winning immunity challenges, ended up with so many immunities, which of course didn't actually do anything for actual votes, but they certainly impacted how people voted to begin with. To me, Jay had the better social game, and their actual competitive levels, again, seemed to me similar. So, based on the social game, goodbye, Jay. As mentioned before, this is a roll of the dice. Certainly people may have a different view than how I'm seeing things. And hopefully I'll be able to sway anyone who's undecided in the jury. But ultimately, at the end of the day, none of these are certain. I've made the choices I've made. I haven't second-guessed any of my votes. I stand by the moves that I've made. Not everything's worked out the way I wanted it to, but I mean, I made it to the final two. So enough has worked out, and this is the final dice roll. So here we go.
Final tribal council. Here's where we decide who gets the title of sole survivor. We will now welcome our contestants. Tom, Lizong. We will now welcome our jury members. Mike, Joey, Erica, Danica, Francis, Jay, voted out at last tribal council. Welcome to tribal council, guys. This is your last chance to say whatever you want before the jury questions you for everything you have and have not done in this game.
Opening statement.
Opening statements. Let's start with Lizong. What do you want to tell the jury?
Well, I'm just so glad to be part of this. I know like maybe behind the door I kind of complain to you guys like how difficult the entire journey is, but you know what, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. This is like very much in a lifetime experience that someone can go through, and especially for me to go all the way to the end. I feel it's like an achievement for myself, especially on its own. So I'm glad to be part of this. And I'm also glad to be work and compete with like all of you, and to some degree. I just hope that everybody knows that even wherever like things happen, either like voting, some people feel blindsided or something, it's all in the spirits again. And we are all here to play part of the game, and that's why I'm here as well. So thank you.
Some of that I have to reiterate. This was quite an experience, especially because I came here not knowing it was happening. But I mean, it was an impressive production, I have to say. I feel like everyone really put their all into it, honestly. Unfortunately, some people didn't get to participate much per se, but I feel like everyone actually still did a pretty good job contending. So, not gonna say I expected to be here, but that was always the hope. Yeah, I assume everyone knows that any of my votes were done with no malice. Everyone competed well, and props to Lizong for
Joey, from the jury, start asking you questions.
Okay. In the spirit of the game, I will tell you, this vote is up in the air. There may be one or two people who are set on they're voting for, but
We
there are
do.
about 4 that they don't know what they want, and I'm one of them. So I need honest answers. I don't need bullshit. We're gonna see through it. So just give us we want to know what's going on. With that in mind, my first question is for Lizong. At any point, did you ever want to get rid of Jay in this game?
No, not at all. The idea of going through it was really. I think in last confession I also make it clear really maybe it's arbitrary, maybe it's just really just tribalism, but really when I pair with Jay in the Kings, I want Kings to go to at the end, no matter what. So
I'm a king as well.
right, and it's unfortunate that we are lose the first 2 competition at the first start. But what I'm saying is that whatever happens at the end, I will vote for the Kings to try to get the Kings through. And so there's no way at any point I'm willing to vote Jay out.
Okay. Tom, to me, I never talked to you in the game. You played a quiet game to me. It looked boring. Can you accentuate what was flashy about your game?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, you were out before the merge. My main strategies were out the game. I certainly was not a contender during the challenges, but my main strategy the whole time was just to make sure that the votes were going the way that I wanted them to. So,
And can you say which votes in particular?
well, I mean, the first vote that I had or that was actually a part of that I certainly was
The Erica
attempting
vote.
to lobby hard for was the Erica vote. Did not go the way that I wanted that to go, but
Okay.
that said, would have had the same result anyway. Beyond that, then the following vote with Danica, that vote knew that there was a lot more danger in the air. Tried to lobby hard with particularly Lizong and Francis to try and get Danica's name in there. It got a tie, and then that led to the tiebreaker. After that, things were a lot more. Most people were on the same page at that point. So it was a 3-1 vote. The vote with Jay that I picked. So,
Alright. Question for each of you. Did you think you played this game with utmost honor and integrity? Yes or no question. Tom?
yes or no? Only strict?
Yes.
No.
Lizong?
Yes.
Okay. Done.
Well, obviously I was voted out 3rd in this game. It's my first time ever seeing the gameplay. It's very interesting. So my first question is Tom. Tom, you were part of the Queen's tribe, and I was the first voted out of Queens. Why was that?
A lot of people thought you were a threat earlier on in the game. I also figured you would be a threat. I was at the time more concerned about Jay's own idol, which is why we were the 2 votes that were out for you. But I could certainly understand. I mean, you play hard, you are passionate, you do not back down. That makes you a threat to this game. So I can understand the decision to make.
Question for Lizong. Throughout this game, you only came up to me maybe once or twice. What were you trying to get out of asking me who I thought was the biggest threat to eliminating based on the jury at that point in time?
Well, to be honest, my mind's kind of made up pretty early in the game, and I know King's Strike can attest to that. So pretty in the game, I kind of pick you as one of the top competitors to be eliminated out. So the times I go up to you, really just my way to try to put you at ease, just to go to the flow. But to be honest, at that point, my mind was made up that you would be one of the top contenders for to, because you are competitive and we know each other for so long. That's how I feel. So that's why I decided to vote you out.
Well, because your answers seem very similar, I will tell you, my vote is very swayed right now. I'm not quite sure who to vote. So I will have to ask, whoever can do the best skitty it up dance may favor my vote.
Right now.
Yes, right now.
With or without music.
Oh my God,
Without
Without music,
To this music.
to this current music.
Dance
If
Monkey.
you can stand up.
'Cause this is the best music to dance to.
Yeah. On the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Skid it up. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Annika.
Okay. So, Lisa, you said you were intent on the Kings. You had no shot of getting to the final if there were 4 queens and 2 kings left. Why did you still go with that?
Well, my idea is that I need to secure votes, and I feel I try to play out enough with the Kings that can secure votes in there.
Okay, so you knew that you voted 2 people out and they may vote for you, and that was your game. But did you try to persuade any of the queens?
I believe I did. I did talk to Francis at some point. I mean, that we have to vote him out.
Before you blindsided him or after?
Oh, I don't think he was blindsided because I tell him straight that we all gonna vote for him, and he attests to that. So I mean, I told him straight up this is how the game is, and that's what is happening. So like I say, I try to be honest with him, and at that point, that's how I feel. And maybe that's my way to win the point. If it works, good. If it doesn't work,
Were you honest with me?
My personal assessment.
I would say.
Were you honest with me? Yes or no?
I would say no because you are one of the top.
No, because. Were you honest with me?
No.
Okay, good. Were you honest with me?
Regarding your vote, no.
Every other time.
Every other time that I can think of, yes.
Why is it that we never spoke? Even though the queens were in majority, we knew that the kings were plotting against us. The kings were gunning for us. We knew Mike was going out. Why is it that the queens never got their act together?
Well, once we hit the merge, especially given the fact that there was cross-track talk early on, I did not consider it a kings versus queen situation. Certainly we lost 2 queens right away. The next vote was actually 3 queens right away. So I might have been the next one out, if not for the immunity. But
Okay.
I mean, at the early stages, it was hard to talk to a lot of people. I was always on the head, debating how long until people were going to be voting you out to begin with. So, I think one of the earlier votes, for Erica, I was voting your name, but there was no traction, so I dropped that immediately.
Okay. My vote is pretty much made up after this one. Okay.
When does begin? Your vote's very pivotal.
So unlike Jovi, my mind is sort of made up here, but I'm still gonna ask you guys these questions. So Tom, was there any point throughout this this journey that you decided you were no longer a queen? Did you ever feel like you were in this solo?
Honestly, from the very beginning, I assumed it was a solo game, given just the small numbers. So, hence, when Jovi asked if I played the game with honor and integrity, that would be my reservation on that. That the entire time I was playing this as a solo game. I saw there were some fragile alliances, but I never saw anything that people were not willing to betray each other over any with the other groups. So I treated it as a single game, as a solo mission.
In the last round before Jay joined us, what were your thoughts in voting me out?
I was on the hedge between the two of you, but honestly, in a 4-person vote, in a 2v2 situation, it would have been a tie. Would have been tough to swing that. I don't think I would have been able to convince Luzon to switch his vote. So in that case, 3v1 was the safest course for me personally.
So if Jay voted for me, Lizon voted for me, and if you voted for Jay and I voted for Jay, we'd have went to a tiebreaker, right?
It would have been a tie.
Correct.
Yes, the two of you would not have had a chance to vote. Lizong and I would have had a chance to re-vote. If we did not change our votes, or did come to, in this case, a unanimous decision,
And you didn't want to
then,
convince Lizon?
then that would mean that it would be a 50-50 of one of us going home instead.
Lizon, I appreciated playing this game with you, and I will say you were very honest. You did have integrity. What were your thoughts in eliminating me?
Well, to be honest, in that scenario, it's really, I kind of assess the fact that you are like someone new to the group. I feel like people would like
I think so.
try to give you a little bit of beginning blocks to welcome you. So I kind of played my decision, try to eliminate it out. Because I still feel like we constantly point that you and me at the end. I feel like my chances will be lessened. Something like that. And then also I feel that it's a better story for the Kings starting with round 2, coming back with maybe like 1 or maybe 2 offer in the final. I feel that's more of a good story. That's how I feel.
How's it going, fellas? First things first, just want to ask a general question.
Got you.
How comfortable are you guys?
Not particularly. I'm sweating bullets right now.
Well, based on, I'm no expert, but based on body language, I feel like one is a lot more comfortable than the other. With that being said, I have a question regarding, you guys are, let's face it, Lizon won 50% immunity channel, just Tom won it when it mattered the most. So let's forego the challenges to begin with. In terms of your social game, Lizon, you and I feel like you and I were right together from day one, right? You and I were gonna ride and die, go all the way to the end. What else, other than, let's say, what other people may think as riding on my coattails?
Are you white?
What else have you done socially that makes you stand out apart from Tom?
Well, like I said, I try to talk to Francis. I know like when during the last vote, when it's just like we all decide to kind of voting Francis out. I feel like this is like the vote here. This is the one that matters. I would just feel like what, I know that he probably hear you guys will say something else. I just try to be straightforward, and I just want the result to show. I was be straightforward, and just like maybe it's unlucky or unfortunate. I couldn't be partnered with Francis during the team play, and that's the way it is. And then maybe next time we got better luck. And I also want to have the result I demonstrate to all the fellow Kings members. So like when we decide at the beginning, in the tribal when we decide at the beginning, when we do the playthrough, even though some of us couldn't make it at the end, and we just if we keep this the goal, keep the plan, and that's how we're gonna make it to final. And I just hope that all the things I did will show at the end.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but to sum up your gameplay in one word would be integrity, right?
Yes.
From the get-go, from your Kings 100% away from the beginning.
That's correct.
Okay. Tom. I think I've had the benefit of being one of the people that you and I have been kind of combative with each other the most going into this, especially in the final one. However, from just rumblings, I hear your social game more so as
a wallflower. More so as somebody who waits in the shadows and sees what happens and then tries to, maybe do something later. Do you think you actually drove anything socially, or were you just completely a follower in 100% of the way?
I don't feel, well, in some of the votes, it ended up in a situation of a follower situation, feeling where the wind was blowing. In other votes where I felt I needed to lobby harder, I did move harder, the Danica vote being a particular example. But yeah, admittedly, I'm not gonna lie. My biggest move was the attempt on Erica's vote, and this failed miserably. Again,
So your biggest move was a failure?
The biggest single individual move, yes.
Okay.
That said, I should point out that if you're thinking that I'm relaxed from my body language, it's just that this is me.
I know. All right. So I think I kind of got Lizong's idea. So, what do you think is your single biggest move in the game? You have one?
Not really coming up with anything.
Lizong, you want to read? Do you have one?
Besides the blue I told you about on Francis, I guess it's an earlier stage, like when we decided we can stick together. That might be the one I decided how the entire game goes.
Okay.
And I followed through it to cast my ability. I believe.
So follow me to the end.
Yes.
Got it. All right, I'm done.
Mike, you're up.
Obviously, I was the last vote.
First
vote. Wish I was the last.
No, that hurts more.
Huh?
That hurts more.
Yeah, but it's a game. It's okay. But it did get under. But anyways, my first question is for Tom. Tom, I didn't really get to strategize with you because I was voted on first. But what makes you? Why should I give you the crown, this title, aside from Lizong?
Basically, ultimately the reason why in the last tribal council I picked Jay over Lizong was, again, as you described, the challenges were, as much as Jay likes to point out that Lizong won several immunity challenges, the two of them were pretty much the challenge champions. Jay as well. Maybe you didn't win immunity, but you still were a challenge threat. But basically, as was pointed out previously, Lizong's move was to basically be Jay's shadow. So, I tried to strike out on my own.
Sorry.
Sometimes
It's okay.
I was able to have people come along, sometimes not, but
Lizong, have you ever lied to anyone in the jury in the game?
Again, lie.
Yeah.
Yes.
To who?
Basically, into a lot of consideration. It doesn't bring joy to me, as you can see.
To who orchestrated that move to vote me?
I think it's will start between me and Joey, and then we try to talk Jay. The idea was, if I was under the impression that if all the kings made it in the end, for some reason, however, may all just be pairing with any one of you, which ones are gonna have the more chance to be voted by the jury. And from my perspective, consider how much we hang out together, I got a feeling that you would be like really one, if not top, one of the top. And since Joey shared my sentiment over there, and so is Jay, like we kind of decided to vote now. So maybe that's why I feel like one-sided first vote, but I'm just saying like that's under really serious consideration. I joined the first vote. I wish we could do different. I wish we win the challenge, but that is how it is.
Good. In my mind.
All right. So
Shall we vote?
now the jury is gonna vote.
Everyone ready to vote?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm ready to what?
I'm ready.
I'm going to take the camera. We are going.
You're arranging dramatically, right?
Huh?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Guys, it's been a good run. It's been 3 days. It's been 2 tribes.
Oh, nice.
You guys have made it this far.
Made it past all of us.
Yeah.
Made it past all of us in the jury.
Yeah.
So,
Hats off to you.
here it goes. First one. Lizong.
I'm not gonna clap.
Second word. Lizong. Two words, Lizong. Third word. Lizong Chen, honor and integrity. 3 words, Lizong Chen.
One more. Seals it, right? Yep.
Winner of Survival Group Game.
Oh my god! Yeah! Oh my god!
Oh my god!
No way!
Oh my god!
Oh my god! You got all the votes! You got all the votes!
Every single one.
It was 50-50 until tribal. I'm not
But
even kidding.
every vote, boy!
You got every
Let's
single.
go Kings!
Yay!
Let's go Kings! Oh!
Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job.
How did this happen? Why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? Oh my gosh.
Great.
Dude, I was stunned by
Lizong's final tribal was great.
I was
Yeah.
totally expecting Tom to just like fucking go
Lizong,
like
you
that.
got every single
Your
one
final
of
tribal
the
was
6 words.
good.
Yeah. Dude, your
I
final
kept
tribal was
flipping
good.
it over. I'm like, oh my god. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Oh my
Yeah, we all thought the same.
I saw you try to make it that the Tom is gonna be next.
Well, that's what we were trying to do.
No, I wasn't trying to do anything. I was just asking questions. I
Unbelievable.
read
When you
my
no, when you like read the first like 3 answers, it's like
stunned.
it's gonna be
7-0. I could have thought like a good split, like 4-4, maybe 5-3.
I had
8-0.
I respected
Oh.
that game a lot.
6-0.
I'm sorry.
That's
Crazy.
fine. No, I will say I think our definitions of honor and integrity were different, but
Dude, there is no shame in second place here.
I know, I'm not
I
complaining.
appreciated your
I'm not.
game.
I'm not complaining. Yeah, I mean, I had a strong feeling that I had a strong feeling with the 3 that I wasn't making it anyway. It was just.
I was actually, there was a point, if I won immunity, I was going to vote Lee Zong out.
I actually had a feeling that either one of you would have voted for the other one. Yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't think
What
they
a
would actually
game.
go through with it. I didn't think Lee Song would.
I didn't
I think if Lee Zong
going
actually,
to this game, I would not have
that's the
voted
thing,
for Lee
Zong.
Song.
This is
Oh
like
my
this
God.
is fucked up post game, but I'm gonna tell you
Like
what's
we
gonna
kept
happen.
saying this.
I was confident you were gonna take me to the final, right?
I take it.
I was gonna vote you out because you were going to beat me.
Oh, by the way.
Probably.
By the way, reunion challenge. If Tom took Jay, who was going to vote for Jay? Who was gonna vote for
I
Tom?
don't vote for Jay.
Were you
Jay.
Jay?
Right.
You made the right decision.
I know. Yeah, I'm not questioning it.
God.
So close.
But so close. So close
I mean, not
to a
hearing
million
about
nothings.
Slide
But
puzzles.
like, as it was.
What a bitch.
Oh yes, the slide puzzle.
Oh man. I mean, he wasn't great, but his answers like seemed so
No,
honest. to me.
Lee Song. Like
His
at
answer-
this whole time, I'm like, Lee Song has not watched Survivor.
And he, yeah.
How is he
I said
doing
that
so
I said
well?
that too. I was like, he's never watched the season, but
That's
look
why
at
I
these
looked
answers.
At you. I was like, Lee Song's
Look at these
answers.
answers.
Dude,
my
you were so
fucking
on
God.
point. You were so
You
on
were
point.
so
in
good with
final.
your answers.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my God,
You
dude.
should actually go for Survivor because no one's going to suspect that.
Your answers
You
were
would win.
good.
Actually, Lee Zong could win Survivor because no
Lee
one
Zong
would
could actually-
absolutely
Lee
expect
Song's
him.
going to be yeah man of fucking Survivor.
And he'll win every
Oh
trial,
my
and
God.
every challenge, and people would be like, "What the fuck is happening?" Yeah, it's just like Lee Zong.
This is a tough one because I was with Tom from the very start, but I don't feel like I had particular connection. And we were gunning for Lee Zong from the very beginning of the game. So to me, this is a tough vote. I do feel like I have a choice based on all the questions that the jury asked. My choice is Lee Zong. My choice is Lee Zong because I do think he played the best overall game. He was being talked about from the very beginning, and he made that work for him. He found one person he could shield behind. He didn't win immunity, but the moment it mattered, he got someone to vote for him when he couldn't protect himself. So, based on everything that was said, and Lee Zong did lie to me, Tom didn't, but I don't think. I feel like Lee Zong played the best game here. So, Lee Zong, that's my vote.
I'll make this short and sweet. I am definitely voting for Lee Zong as the survival participant in this season for a couple of reasons, and those reasons are pretty straightforward. The first is just the transparency, the level of transparency and honesty that he provided to me prior to voting me out. I appreciated that more than anything, and I also enjoyed or appreciated his final words. You know, he was straight up, and regardless of not whether it rubbed people the wrong way or persuaded somebody another way, he stuck to his story and never faulted, never lied, and he stuck to the ace. He stuck to the Kings. He stuck to the Kings, and he was riding that out to the end. So he got my vote.
Both of y'all. I'm impressed. Just guarantee we go back to the beginning, go back in time. No one would have predicted this. No one. Not one. Man. You know, was it the best strategy? Who knows? But it was a strategy. And you stuck to it. And you did really stick up to your one word of integrity. So I respect the shit out of that. And I really hope you do win.
This was a good tribal council. And I will pick Mr. Chen. All I wanted to hear that you didn't orchestrate me getting taken out of the game, and you didn't lie to me, and you owned up to it, and you have my vote. Congratulations.
All right, let's do this. Lee Zong. Kings strong from the beginning. Okay. You know, despite what you did, you're still gonna get my vote. Honor and integrity. No one would think that I would vote this way. You did it without lying, and that's why you deserve to win. GG, motherfucker.
Not gonna lie, I'm actually still on the fence on who I want to win this. Whew, it's rough. It's rough. You know, I have this connection with Tom. We were queens, and he recognized greatness in me, so he knew he had to take me out. But I feel like, you know, I could have been his ally if he took me along a little further. So it still kind of hurts a little bit. But then at the same time, I was very impressed with Tom in the last relay challenge. He was very much behind, and in the middle of that relay, he just used his smarts, and he whipped that ball around the tree and back and just annihilated that puzzle. Li Zong, on the other hand, he only really approached me maybe once, maybe twice, and he didn't really say anything to me. You know, he was trying to get information out of me without really leading me anywhere or helping me at all. So it's a little tricky. But I hear what other people are saying that, you know, he had a little bit of integrity to the game. Because, you know, he didn't lie to me the way Tom did. Because Tom convinced me to vote for Jay, and in the end, he voted for me. So, you know what? I think I'm going to have to go with this vote, because in the end, while I value being recognized as being one of the greats, I also don't like being lied to and kind of being played a little bit, despite the amount of work he really put in the end. And so this is going to be my vote for the winner. This is Survivor, signing off.